program has been classified PG and parental guidance is recommended.
Hammers out. That's 4 runs. That's victory for the Australians. What a wonderful performance to win by 8 wickets in the World Cup. What a glorious moment for Australian cricket.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 US Open champion. Oh my!
What a clutch. Welcome to centre court, Miss Anna Kournikova.
Spent all night watching telly with a stubby on my belly. Didn't even move to have a pee. Monday I was tired, you know, but geez, I was inspired, you know. The Aussies are the best I've ever seen. McGrath's coming down like a machine. Down like a machine. Rifles making divots in the green. Fleming's taking wickets. And Gilchrist clearing pickets. The war boys' eyes have got that killer gleam. Mr. Moody's playing havoc with the bat. And Warnie, it's great to have you back. You're smoking. Bevan's making runs. And Lehman's chewing gum. And I can't believe that Gray was hosting that. Come on. Come on, Aussie, come on. Come on. Come on, Aussie, come on. Come on, everybody, come on. Come on, Aussie, come on. Come on. Come on, Aussie, come on. They wanted the boys. One more time, come on. Come on, Aussie, come on. 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 Oh, terrific. Oh, we've won the World Cup. We've won it, Dino. We've won the World Cup. Terrific. Oh, special. What a special day. Terrific. Jason, over to you.
Oh, well, what an incredible week it was. The Aussies are World Cup champions, and a fantastic tribute there from Bruce McAvaney, a.k.a. Andrew Starton. Good on you, Andrew. Well done, mate.
Thank you, Jason.
Well, the Aussie boys did return home to a hero's welcome in Melbourne today, and hometown hero Paul Rifles dropping in. We'll catch up with him and find out just how they handled all those celebrations. And speaking of Aussies, the Aussie assault continues at Wimbledon. Some fantastic news there overnight. We'll cross out to Paul Roos live from Wimbledon with Leighton Hewitt, who's in very good form at the moment. The boys just getting ready as we speak. And, of course, let's not forget the footy. We've got super coach Kevin Sheedy coming in. He keeps defying the critics. How does he do it? We'll get him to tell us. Also, we've got the latest footy news with Hutchie. We've got the teams for the big clash, the Bombers and the Bulldogs for the Whitten Cup on Friday night, and another classic piece from Darren Casey. But right now, let's meet the panel. Bit of a new look this time. Well, no new look with Dougie Hawkins. He's back. How are you, Douglas?
Good day, Jake.
The Hawks were magnificent, coming back from an AFL record 63 points behind against St Kilda, and one of the stars, Daniel Harford's in. And who better to talk about World Cup cricket than one of the members of our last victorious team? That was back in 1987, one of our greatest ever, Dean Jones. All right, Dino, you sat up and you saw all the action. Was it a little bit of deja vu?
Well, not really. I think in a way that I'm glad they finished at 2 o'clock so everyone could get to bed early, I think, in a way. But it's just a brilliant effort. It was a lot harder for these guys this time than when we played, because we weren't expected to win it, they were.
So, Indiana, how did you compare what? Indiana Jones, of course. How do you compare the 87 World Cup side to this one? Is it very hard to do that? And let me just say, it's a long time ago, 87. Was the same hype around this? This one seems to be bigger than big.
Well, we didn't have the TV that we had at that time, Dougie, but I think, as I said before, we were rated the 8th worst team then, playing, and we went right through to win it. But these guys, they were gone. They sunk back and they had to go out and throw punches.
Did you write them out, Dino? Did you say they were gone?
I thought they were gone. I didn't think they could win 7 in a row, but. You know, it's a great game, cricket, and they can come back and fight back with. There's Buff Lehman hitting another 4. Good Victorian, actually South Australian. We made him here. He was good, but
hitting the winning runs.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned TV before. Something extraordinary that you mentioned to me before the show: the profits made from the World Cup.
That's right, Jace. It's I think the English Cricket Board themselves will make a profit of $80 million US on the whole tournament. So.
Any chance we can host it the next few times?
We'll get over in South Africa in 2004, but that's the reason why the game won't be owned by the ICC. It'll always be owned by the boards around the world.
Magnificent.
Now, Dino, the Super 6 was tried out for the first time this World Cup. What were your thoughts on how that worked and how effective it was?
I think the concept was good in regards to getting there, but I think for the next 4 years, I'd like to see the teams playing the Tri-Nation Series every time they play in three nations. That they'll actually get points for it, and therefore Australia nearly wasn't in the Super Sixes. They actually had to beat the West Indies, and we could have been lost for all. But there's got to be some sort of format in the next 4 years to get points to qualify for those Super Sixes, I think.
And Dino, what sort of money did the boys get from the Australian side for winning the World Cup? Did they get a quid out of that?
I think they won around about $30,000 or something for a bonus, yeah, on top of winning. But at the same time, in '92, when the Pakis won here, they only won $50,000.
For the whole team?
The whole team, and which Imran Khan took to give for the hospital. So the boys are pretty impressed with Imran that time, I'd say.
Well, what about back in '87? What did you blokes walk away with?
We didn't get a medal. We got the cup. Some great memories. I don't know what we only got about $2,000 or $3,000, I think, if that.
What about the Blues, Dino? You're a big Carlton supporter. Have you had a chance to go and see them?
If we can't beat them, we buy them, the Blues, yeah. But yeah, I do... that must be a body double. I don't carry on like that at the footy.
Is that the same tie you're wearing tonight?
Yeah, it's the only one in the wardrobe, I'm tipping.
Unbelievable. I've got 50 ties at home. That's the one I pull off the rack. Amazing.
What about the ruckman at the moment, Dino? There's a lot of guys out. I think Porter, Allen, Burke as well is out of side. Can you only get a game in the ruck, mate, there?
No, not big enough.
Not big enough?
Can't run it. I think Carlton have got a few problems in the future.
Yeah.
You've got Bradleys and Rattons. They can't keep going on forever, and I just hope they can someone to fill their boots. You know, Braddles has been brilliant as a skipper.
Great, hasn't he?
Absolutely, and I admire those guys for what they've done.
Well, nothing worse than finding out Carlton have got problems. Isn't that a tragedy? Sorry, mate. But we'll talk more cricket later on when Paul Rifle joins us. Let's talk footy. What about the Hawks? 63 points down, and I can honestly say it's the best day I've ever had at the footy. We were out there half. I've got to say 9 goals to 1 down at quarter time. We're all looking a little bit sick and sorry and wondering where the inspiration is going to come from. Second quarter, we had a lot of the play in the second half of the second quarter. Of course, they kicked the first couple of goals and it looked even bleaker. But then we just started to get a bit of a hold on the game. We mightn't have put it on the scoreboard, but we started to get a bit of confidence in our play and almost dictated the play the last 10 minutes of the second quarter.
Yeah, well, St Kilda sort of pulled up a little bit in the second half of the second quarter, and we went into half-time really positive, and the coaches was saying to us that, you know, we're still 8 goals down or whatever it was, but if we just chip away, they were a little bit flat in the second quarter, and we were on the way up, and we came out in the third quarter, kicked 10 straight, which we haven't kicked 10 goals in a game all year, really. We kicked it in a quarter, and it was the difference in the game.
And it was really funny because St Kilda looked to do the same that the Kangaroos did to us when we played them. They all attacked Shane Crawford. I mean, he's obviously one of our key players. He's the leader. They verbalised him. Every time someone walked past him, they dropped the shoulder in and they bumped him. And for the first time, we didn't do it against the Kangaroos, but we did it this weekend against St Kilda. We started doing it back. We started verbalising, getting in people's faces, and a big turning point when Spider Everett gave away a couple of 50s. The crowd came into the game. Yep. The players went up. They were patting him on the head. They were giving him a spray. He got dragged. He glared at the crowd as he came off. I mean, it just had everything, this match. It was fantastic to be a part of.
What about this bloke, Jace? Kicked 2 match-winning goals.
Oh, he certainly did. What about those half? Let's have a look at the first one. Now, this is a perler. An absolute beauty.
This is Paul Sennett special, this one.
Look at that around the corner. And the celebration half. The celebration.
I get excited, Doug.
Is that an aeroplane?
What I was saying is to the crowd to live.
You know what you're saying?
Pretty quiet.
You're saying, how good am I?
What's this?
How good am I is what you're saying.
I was saying, where are you when we need you? Lift. That's what I was saying.
If that didn't prove it, you did it again.
Oh, I'm not.
You did it
yeah,
just,
you're
Well, just to
kidding.
make sure they got the
Now,
message.
I don't mind. Well, I don't mind a player celebrating when he's going well, but these
Hang
were
on.
probably the first 2 kicks you had.
Hey, where'd you
But
get this
if you remember back a couple of weeks ago,
Oh, dear.
always the villain, not the hero. This is against Footscray,
No, we'd stop living in the past, Jason. You
against
know that.
Hot
the
ball.
Western Bulldogs. I'm sorry.
Oh dear.
And this probably cost us a win. We ended up with a draw, but it just shows how fortunes can change. One week you're the villain, the next week you're the hero.
It shows
Good
the fickle
tackle,
nature
though.
of footy. And look, you go through the whole gamut of emotions in footy, as you know, Jason. And one week you're up, and the next week you're down. So
And you're an emotional player too, which I think is good. We need that in footy, and it certainly did help inspire the Hawks.
And Half, you've been dragged on the ground a few times on off the ground. Do you know when you're going to get dragged? You ever get that feeling you know you're in trouble?
oh yeah, I did on Saturday. I muffed up a kick, and I just went straight to the bench. Didn't even bother waiting.
Just jogged off.
Didn't even bother. I knew it was coming, so I just bolted.
Now, Hards, what was the feeling like in the rooms? So you'd lost, you're gone, and to come back, the euphoria in the rooms?
Oh, it was amazing. It really was one of those feelings that you can't describe. And look, it's not something you go out to do, get trailed by 63 points and come back and win. It's not something you plan.
Is that the turning point for the team for the season?
We hope so. It's it is a huge event for us after drawing with the Bulldogs, who are a quality side. We beat St Kilda, who we believe are a quality side, and to be able to come back from that far down is hopefully a springboard for the rest of the season for us.
Magnificent. That's what we like to hear. The Hawks are on the way back. Nothing better, and bad news for 15 other clubs. Am I the only one enjoying this? Now, maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Let's talk about Geelong now. They have got some problems. I mean, they won the first 5, being touted as premiership favourites. All of a sudden, they've dropped 7 on the trot. And in particular, on Friday night, it looked as though there might be a little bit of a rift between Coach Gary Ayres
And Whiskers.
Gary Hocking. Now, he spent time on the bench, he spent time up forward, time down back. That is a worrying sign, isn't it?
Certainly is, Jason. He wasn't himself on Friday night, Whiskers. He wasn't himself. He really did struggle, and he was taken from the ground a couple of occasions. And over the last few weeks, I've been a bit surprised that Ayres at times has played him in the back half and played him up in the forward line. And I think he's probably better suited up in the midfield where he gets the ball out of the centre. Terrific player. But they have got some big problems, and they got West Coast on the weekend at Shell Stadium, so that's going to be a very hard game. Because the record at Shell Stadium this year has been pretty ordinary, so...
They're just as likely to bounce back and win that one, though.
Well, they probably
That's
could,
the,
James. They probably could.
The nature of the game. But one side that's also desperate for winning, they just didn't get there on the weekend, the poor old Pies. They travelled to Footy Park, they took on the mighty Crows, who aren't so mighty at the moment, and they fell down at the final hurdle. But a little bit of controversy about the result. What about this last decision?
Bit stiff,
This could have been the winning goal, as the kick came in from Buckley, and it was a push-out. Paid Ben Hart was the defender there. And you know how you figure this is a bad decision? We've got some footage that I don't think has been seen before. This shows all the lead-up. There really isn't a
not
lot
much in
it.
that, is there?
Look at Ben Hart. He continues to play the ball, continues to try and spoil because he didn't think there was much in it.
Is that the Collingwood player, young Rupert Betheris?
Betheris or-
Betheris, yeah, Betheris. Very
Betheris.
stiff there. Jeez,
Yeah.
he's stiff there, the young
They
man.
were.
Especially at that
And,
stage of the game.
There is some consolation for the Pies. In the Melbourne Times, one of the week or the week.
Oh, don't, you're not doing it. You're not
There
doing
was an
this.
advertisement which had
Oh,
particular
no.
reference to Collingwood fans. Have a
No.
look at this. Now, this is a well-known brothel.
Oh, no.
And if you look under the number, it says all Collingwood Football Club members half price, life members free. Valid once per client per month. Now,
Get on
we
the phone, you Collingwood
we
members.
actually rang to find out if that was genuine, and it is dead set fact.
What sort of price,
If you
Jake?
ring up...
What sort of price is it, huh? What's a half
Well,
price?
a half price.
What's that then?
If you're a bit tully, 60 bucks. 60 bucks will get the job done. But the funny thing is, I mean, if
Is that the full works?
you take into account all that, I mean, you may as well just go there, throw in an extra 15, you get your Collingwood membership for free, don't you?
As well.
I mean, it's at half price. But it's funny, we rang up to make sure that it was Reggie Didge, and because we rang up and we were interested, they said all the live and kicking staff can get in for half price now. So that's good news, and even better news is I've just enrolled to become a Collingwood member, so I'll get it for about a quarter price for the time.
I'll go with you too,
finished.
James. I'll go with you as well.
Who are the life members?
Yeah.
Well,
Who
are
the
there any
life
life members here in the audience?
Peter Dacos is one.
There's a couple, but they don't want to put their hand up. They're sort of keeping them down a bit. I'm tipping there might be
What
a
about
bit
Tony
of
Shaw?
business
He's
for
going
them.
through a bit of a rough time at the moment.
Might be handy for him.
He'd be a life member at Collingwood, would he?
Take a load off his mind.
These guys are...
Now,
FC,
Another
don't touch that.
another interesting photo that
Get
did
back on
come out
track.
of the weekend's matches, the Demons. They had a heartbreaking loss to the Kangaroos. But what about Jeff Farmer and his teammate Paul Hopgood? You just wonder, is he trying to inspire him? What's going on there?
Well, it's one way to get him going, isn't it?
And he said, every time you don't get a kick, I'm going to give you a wedgie.
And
The backside, look at that, eh?
that is the mother of all wedges. That's the atomic. That's the one where it goes over your head. For the dog at school got it over his head. That's amazing.
Plenty of action on the footy and plenty more coming up after the break. Sheeds will join us. But just before we do go, cast your mind back to Friday night. Matthew Richardson, he was in absolutely devastating fashion. He marked everything. He kicked a heap of balls with some Tigers fans here in the audience. But Jeff Geeshan found something that he wasn't quite happy with.
I think we better get Richo off. I don't think he's wearing any undies. I saw one of his Jack's crackers just jump out, over there on the far wing and over there as well.
Jesus Christ, what's he been? I'm kicking goals, I'm taking marks, I'm playing like a star, for Christ's sake.
Yes, Coach, how can I help you, mate?
Richo, I know this is a bit delicate, mate, but are you wearing any undies?
Have you gone mad? What are you talking about?
Well, I thought I saw one of your Jets crackers pop out.
Hell, of course I'm wearing undies, you moron.
Hey, take it easy. Look, if I see the Crown Jewels make an appearance, I'm not going to ignore it.
Not wearing any undies? Who do you think I am? Benny Gale. Jesus, what a load of crap.
Now tell me, Richo, are the rumours true? Apparently you're not wearing any undies.
Oh, for God's sake, I am wearing undies. They're getting right up my bum.
Hey, Richo. Sorry, mate, about that undies thing, mate. Look, you know, I just didn't want you to embarrass yourself in front of thousands of people, all right? No, OK, you're wearing undies, that's all right.
Sucked in, mate. I'm not wearing any jocks.